I love it. And I think that that's an important piece there is that we need to draw from multiple sources to find our own truth because your truth of what you want to be and what you want to do is going to be different than what I want to be and what I want to do. And I think it's important to recognize that in this system that we've created, not you and I, but as a society, is that you go to high school, you go to college, you get a job, you retire at this thing, but that path may not be for everyone. And it sounds like you realized that pretty quickly on. And so obviously you're not in the gym industry anymore. Would you like to share with what you're doing now, obviously with our superfood business and all that, and why you left the gym industry?
Okay. Yeah. So I had gyms for 10 years, and I would say about year 5 or 6, I started getting tired and I started getting burnt out, and I started realizing that, like, wow, I achieved my dreams, and it was as simple as a thought, but now I'm within this business and I'm a little bit trapped. I'm trapped because I have hundreds of members. I'm trapped because I have tens of thousands of dollars of bills. So I can't just close up shop because I won't have, the tens of thousands of dollars from the clients to pay off, the taxes that I built up last year. And I also didn't like the structure because the entire time I owned the gym, I had employees, and employees end up being your friend when you're running a community. The gym business I was in was class-based studios, so you have a lot of connection with your clients because you're essentially coaching them. And I coached a tremendous amount of classes that entire 10 years. I was pretty much coaching from the morning to the night, and that was because not necessarily because I had to. There was a couple, like 1 to 2 years that I took off and I traveled and I had other people run the gym. But for the most part, I was teaching, and I was teaching because I knew I wasn't going to own the gyms forever. And I knew that learning how to speak to people and communicate messages to people would help me in everything else that I do in my life. So I was actually coaching a lot, and my other coaches became my friends. But the issue was that I had in my own internal silent struggle was that the coaches that were coaching for me weren't getting paid what they deserved. I wasn't able to pay them enough to like afford a decent car and a decent, living. I would see them struggle, and I had a problem with that. And I really, really didn't like it. And a lot of them left my gym because they were unhappy. I couldn't make them happy. And then either I had to fire them or they left. But when your friends, when you start having to fire your friends, you start realizing like, man, this business model isn't really working. I didn't set it up properly, or it's not working. So I didn't like that I had to underpay employees. I didn't like that I had to always be in downtown LA. Okay, downtown LA is not the nicest place on earth. The energy there is very hectic, and that's where I had 2 gyms down there, 3. I had a ballet bar studio there for a little bit. But I didn't like that, and I also didn't like just the amount of money. Like, there was so much money coming in, so much money going out. I had to pay my the parking lot that was next door. I had to pay them like $3,000 a month just so my members could have a place to park. So if I'm working my ass off all month long and I'm profiting 10, well, the parking lot's profiting 3. It's like, wow, I'm doing all of this work and I'm giving rent to a parking lot. Like, the parking lot's making 30% of what I'm making, and they're not doing anything. They're just, like, it was just like all this money going out and in, and it was like a lot of stress. So I didn't want it anymore. So I manifested a reality where all of that was answered, and my gyms pretty much crumbled 4 years later. After I was having these thoughts, they just crumbled in a matter of months, and it was awesome because I got out. What happened was I was partnering up with these guys, and we were going to build a very, very fancy gym, like Equinox style. We were going to build a fancy gym, and I was going to bring the members and the gym equipment, and they were responsible for building it out. That was the partnership. Well, during the build out, they ran out of money. And so they told me it was going to be done. I moved all my members into this new space and they ran out of money. And now I was in an unfinished gym and we barely could breathe because it was the air quality wasn't good. So I had to close my gyms down. And it was awesome because now I had an excuse. I could basically say, hey, everyone, this is what's happening and we can't go on anymore. So I'm going to shut down. And I'm going to usher you over to my friend's gym. And I pretty much sold all my members to my friend. And then he continued paying me their memberships, a percentage of their memberships for a number of months after I ushered them into his gym. I sold all my equipment and I was out. I was clean. It was crazy. It was crazy because I had these thoughts of like releasing this business and it just like all crashed down unexpectedly. And the whole time I didn't have 1 ounce of anger, 1 ounce of like blame. It was completely these other guys' fault on the surface, but I knew that it was my creation as it was happening. I was so happy that it was happening. So the gym closed and I immediately just turned over to what I was actually interested in, which is the deeper levels of reality, because I had been studying this stuff since I was 17, like meditation and transmuting reality. It's actually the stuff that underlied how I even existed as a gym owner, how I even was a very competitive CrossFitter. I was using magic. I was using all this other stuff. And so I'm really into that stuff now. I teach people about that stuff. And during this time, I started getting into, I just took time off, right? I started a nonprofit that kind of went under, spent about a year working on a project. It was called the Human Network. And the whole purpose of that was to end capitalism, which we were having meetings with some very high level people who all make their money in a capitalistic way. So you can see that I was already like, all right, this capitalistic business model, I don't like it. This business, this network of humans are a lot more powerful if we work together, if we collaborate, as opposed to one person owning a bunch of buildings that a bunch of people work in and have to go home and pay rent to. Like, I just wanted to end all of that. And unsuccessfully, I was president of a 501c3 nonprofit that didn't really go anywhere. And I went through my journey after the gym. I took about 2 years off of not working at all because I was burnt out and I was manifesting life day by day. And then I started up in network marketing pretty accidentally, actually. My partner Seema joined up with our other friend Troy, who obviously we know, and we started into network marketing, and we started the Holistic Justice League. So the Holistic Justice League's purpose, the why, the mission of it, is to set up communities, virtual communities. So it's kind of like the Human Network, but it's a little bit different because it's like a bridge. It's a bridge between capitalism and the gift economy. It's like the in-between. And for me, it's perfect because I tried just going completely gift. It didn't really work out. It's not right. It's not the time. But we're using the Holistic Justice League and we're using the network marketing structure of a superfood business called Purium to set up virtual communities that are centered around 3 things. And these virtual communities are centered around feeding people. And by feeding people, I mean giving them the highest density of nutrition, detoxifying the cells, repairing the body. So these foods that, Rob, you're a partner of mine in this. We're both a member of the Holistic Justice League, and we both are able to impact people's lives like this. But the foods that you and I have available to people make more impact in their lives than 6 to 7 years working out in the gyms. And I know this because a lot of my old members, I still see, and I switch them over to these foods. And it's just very convenient shakes. It's dehydrated at room temperature shakes that do all the right things for the body. And I've seen people make more change in 6 to 7 months on these products than they did in the last 6 to 7 years working out in high intensity gyms. So the nutrition is the product. And we also have the community, the Holistic Justice League communities are all about getting people out of the 9-to-5 matrix. Okay. And the great thing is, if I've been talking about intention this whole time, right? I intended the gym into existence. I intended the gym out of existence. I intended a solution to, networking people with the Holistic Justice League. But one of the Holistic Justice League's intentions is to offer a business opportunity to everyone on this planet. And right now we're in North America and Europe, but the 9-to-5 matrix thing was like shifting over to owning your own business and starting a collaborative community of people that are all on the same mission. This 9-to-5 matrix, like pretty much eliminating that's been done. So one of the intentions of the Holistic Justice League has been satisfied. Like 98% of employees are no longer working right now. They're no longer in the matrix. Most of the world is out of the matrix, and they're at home right now watching YouTube videos, Googling. They're finding out the stuff that, I was in Michigan when I stopped listening to the school system. Well, people have been distracted with their jobs. They're all at home right now, and they're looking around and they're talking to each other and they're sharing information, and they're going, wow, life is a lot more than I thought it was. And the Holistic Justice League also educates people. It's a lot about self-development, because in order to own a business and be successful and build networks, we really have to have our self-developed, because as individual cogs in the wheel of the human species, we want ourselves to be developed to a high capacity so that we're valuable. So the Holistic Justice League that Rob and I we're a part of. Rob, you're one of our main leaders in the HJL. We do those things. We feed people. We offer opportunities for generating our own income and being responsible and creating leaders within this world.